So once again, Carolyn's doing laundry. She does it about every 3 days or so, I think. She uses the plunger, and then she got the little basket that uses it like a regular wash machine. And then she'll bring it over here to do the rinse. See how she leaves it in the basket? All she got to do is lift the basket up, put it over here. And then we'll use that dirty water. I'll fill a bucket up. I'll just put a bucket right into that sink, fill it up, and then we'll take it in to flush our toilets with. That way we don't have to use the IBC tank water for that. We can just use gray water, the dirty water, and it doesn't hurt the toilet at all. So that saves us on having to run the well. Of course, right now I run it off propane in the generator. Propane, this is a dual fuel generator. And then I just fill up the IBC tank or the sinks with water. I can do that now about, oh well, geez, I could last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks on our 275 gallon IBC tank. But I fill it up about every 4 days. And the reason I do that is in case something goes wrong. Well pump doesn't work, the generator doesn't work. Of course, I got 2 generators now. I still got plenty of water where I can go out and buy a new well pump, or I have a spare well pump I could put down in there. It's slightly too big and I don't really want to put it down there unless I absolutely have to, so I probably just buy a new well pump. It will fit down. My concern is ever having to get it back out again. It may not, but that's a whole different story. It's just a backup. So it gives me some time. So I fill it about every 3 or 4 days, even though it would last weeks. Which kind of brings me to the point of this video today. I've made 2 videos now where I've talked about the Southwest running out of water, specifically California, but Southwest, Lake Mead, Lake Powell is dangerously low. And the more I pay attention to what's going on over there, the more I get aggravated about it. So in past videos, I was talking about they want to build a pipeline from Louisiana, Mississippi River to Lake Powell, Lake Mead, Colorado River, I don't know where, to pump water from the Mississippi River to the Colorado River or wherever they want to take it to. It's going to be a massively expensive project. Of course, California probably doesn't have the money to actually do that, so we'd have to pay for it, the rest of the country. And I know when I say that, the commenters are like, well, you're supposed to pay for it, help your countrymen. Well, this is where I get really aggravated. When has California ever helped me? And they're not going to. As a matter of fact, I just learned that if they take water from the Mississippi River, Louisiana will actually start falling off into the ocean. You know the big joke, California should fall off into the ocean? Well, it's actually going to be Louisiana. The sediment that makes up the swamp in Louisiana actually falls off into the ocean at a steady pace. But the Mississippi River replaces it. So you have swamplands for the alligators and the turtles and the snakes and the swamplands. And it's an ecosystem down there, an important one, I would imagine. So what California wants to do is basically get rid of Louisiana so they can have water there. Every time I say this, they say, well, what about the almond trees? You're going to need almond milk. No, we don't need almond milk. I mean, maybe Californians need almond milk, but in my mind, I've told you this, I'm a carnivore. I'll drink cow's milk. So they want to put Louisiana into the ocean. And that's kind of what I was saying before in the video, is California and New York and all the, ocean states, they see middle America as a bunch of trash that needs to be swept away. What I found out is Lake Mead, that area, the Southwest, has been in severe drought since like 1982. So they knew this was coming. And they really didn't change their behavior much to do anything about it. The more I learn, the more they're just wasting water. Now, to me, Iowa, Kansas, northern part of Missouri is farmland. That's where the farmers should be. I might be missing some states. I mean, there may be other states, but right now, Nebraska, there's another one. Illinois. We live in the water belt, basically. So this is where the farming should take place. But for some reason, I'm supposed to worry about California's farmers. Well, look, here's the thing I don't understand is I wasn't the idiot that decided to go live in a desert and try to grow a farm. So now they want Louisiana to suffer massively, lose an ecosystem, so California can water their desert. To me, it's just insane. California is now going to, California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah are going to have to go on water restrictions. What I find interesting, as a side note, Carolyn and I camped in Utah for several weeks. The last place we camped at was just north of Hurricane, Utah. A little national forest. I forget the name of it, like Red Sand or something like that. It was gorgeous. Absolutely loved it there. But out of all the states that we camped in, Utah was the only place that we could get water really easy. We went down to a creek every day, and I carried water up from the creek every day from buckets. I filtered it, put it through the Berkey. It was the clean, beautiful water. Of course, there might have been contamination in it. That's why we bleached it and put it through the Berkey. Never had a water issue in Utah, never. So it's interesting that Utah is running out of water. To me, there's water. I mean, maybe not enough for 40 million people. And that's the thing, they say 40 million people. It's not even that many people for that many states. It's that I have to worry about. Apparently, it's going to get worse for everybody in the middle of the country. Not California, not the people who are really brain dead to think I can grow a farm in California and take it from a man-made lake, Lake Mead, man-made, and have all the water I want. And then you got these rich people in Hollywood who are actually saying, you know what, I like to water my yard. Now these are the environmentalists, remind you. These environmentalists, Hollywood celebrities and rich people say, I want to water my yard. I don't care if there's a water shortage. So I'm only supposed to water my yard Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I'm going to water my yard 7 days a week and just pay the fines. So they don't care there's a water shortage. They don't care what's about ready to happen to them, because Louisiana is going to have to pay the piper. I did all the bad things. Louisiana is going to pay for it. Makes me so angry. And this is getting worse. This isn't just Louisiana now. So I just watched a video, pretty reliable source of information, said the federal government now wants all Americans to go on water restrictions. They're trying to pass legislation that you are going to have to reduce the amount of water that you consume so the Southwest has water. I don't even understand it. They didn't explain it. I'm just guessing they're going to ship water over to California, over to the Southwest, so they can continue to waste water. I got to go on restrictions for them. Then to make matters worse, they want my tax dollars, the money I spend, federal tax dollars, which they just socked the heck out of me this year. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I made hardly anything. I am now paying more every quarter to the IRS than I make. It's incredible. I'm living off savings right now. Of course, next year I should balance out a little bit, but imagine that. I have to pay more than what I make right now. So they're going to pay California farmers, or Southwest farmers, I guess it's California farmers, to not grow food. Wow, look at that. So I have to give up my water. Louisiana has to give up their state, the geographic state. I have to pay taxes so they won't produce food for me. It reminds me of the person that comes up to you in their brand new spanking car. Got all the bells and whistles. Hey, Rob, come out and look at my car. Look at this, man. Isn't this nice? Wow. And you're like, wow, man, I wish I could afford something like that. Well, work hard, you'll get it. Yeah, I work pretty hard, but I can never afford anything like it. Hey, Rob, I didn't want to tell my wife this, but I'm a little short this month on money. Can you loan me a few bucks so I can pay my electric bill and get some groceries for the family? Well, dude, you just bought this car. You said you had plenty of money. Yeah, you know how it is. And so you give them a loan because you feel bad for the family, because this moron just bought a car. So you give them some money and they never pay you back. Well, I'll get to you next month. I'm a little short this month. All the while they're driving around in this, fancy car. Well, that's what California is doing. Because I mean, you listen to these people, oh, the hypocrisy, they got plenty of water and they come over here in their RVs and they camp over here, they're using all the water. Okay, let's say 1 million people went over there. Carolyn and I would only use about 40 gallons of water every 2 weeks when we were camping. So when we were in Utah and I was going down there and I was getting water in buckets, it was about 40 gallons. 1 million people going over there, that doesn't even compare to the amount of water they're using. So that's their excuse, is they're running out of water because everybody keeps coming over there, call them snowbirds. So the rest of the country, these snowbirds, I guess they think all of us just go over there. I don't know. That's their excuse. See, they make up these stupid excuses to tell us why I got to pay for their mismanagement from 1982. They knew it was going to happen. California, one of the municipalities of California, don't care which one, is now telling people who own a private well that they have to put a meter on their well, and they will have to pay money to the city, just like a water bill, every month for the water they use out of their own well. So they got to pay for the electric to pump the water, and then they got to pay for the water themselves on property they own. Now, last time I said that, some genius from California, oh, if you had a new house, you would have to have permits and things for your well. Yeah, you have to have permits for your well so you don't put it next to your septic tank. But there is no permit that says that water is not mine. The minerals in my ground are mine. That's how Missouri works. But people from these states don't even think that there might be something different. No, everything is owned by the government. And that's what California is saying. Water is owned by the government. Well, now the federal government apparently is saying water is owned by the government. So my concern is, when is the federal government going to tell me I have to put a meter on my well? I think if you tell Midwesterners that they're going to have to put a meter on their well, there might be some sort of revolt. Now, fortunately, like Missouri always does, I would suspect Missouri would fight back. We got this attorney general here that every time the federal government says they're going to do something, come out and look at our concealed carry permits. Yes, I know you don't have to have concealed carry permits in the state of Missouri, but some people still do in case they travel outside the state. So our attorney general said, no, the FBI isn't coming out here. You're not welcomed. Stay away. And so Missouri does things like that a lot. They pass laws that says federal law isn't going to affect state law. Do not let California walk all over us. They are spoiled brats down in southwest California, and they want us to pay for their bad behavior, all the while they're stomping their feet saying it's our fault. So if you'll click this up next video, it'll take you to that last video I made about it. So I hope I can inspire you to get away from these crazies so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.